In this video, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the Sui ecosystem, taking a look at how it's performing against Bitcoin and against its biggest rival, Solana. We're also going to take a look at some of the biggest coins in that ecosystem, from DeFi plays to DEXs to meme coins. If that sounds good to you, come and jump into the show.
We started this company with a vision of changing how the internet is built.
This is really our vision, to make sure that developers have the best security stack to build decentralized applications in the world.
The applications you can do with Walrus, if you include all of the encryption stuff with Sui, is immense.
This is how we take blockchain mainstream.
Welcome back to another episode of Prodigal Son Crypto with myself, Chris. This week we're talking about Sui, or Sui, as some might call it. I used to call it Sui all the time, and we got corrected that it's Sui, but you might still sometimes hear me say Sui out of habit, so apologies for that if that offends anyone. You need to check yourself. So let's have a look. So today we're going to be looking at Sui itself. We're going to be looking at Walrus, DeepBook, Cetus, and a number of other coins. So let's just jump straight in, shall we? Okay, so Sui itself sitting at $4.23 at the time of recording, with a 14.6 billion market cap. Fully diluted value is 42 billion, and that's one thing that some people warn against, but I would say this seems to be a very legitimate chain. Think of Solana in its early days, or even Ethereum in its very early days. This is an exciting new project with a huge ecosystem, many developers, the fastest growing network of this bull cycle, and I can only see it going further. So yeah, don't get too phased by the token unlocks. Many of them have been unlocked already up until now, and have not impacted the price action really. And I believe the rest of the tokens get unlocked over a number of years. So if you believe this chain has got the hype for this cycle, then maybe if you're not in already, maybe you could have a look at this one. And we're going to show you a lot of the coins and projects that are built on Sui today. None of this is financial advice, of course. And let's have a look. So Sui USD pair is looking very, very good. What we see is higher lows, and we've seen higher highs. This is a lower high, but we've just broken that. So this is looking very bullish. I believe we're not far away from the all-time highs. I believe this can easily break all-time highs with all the strong fundamentals surrounding Sui in this cycle. Where can it go? We looked at that in the last video, but I'll just do that right now. And with a fib extension, we're looking at targets of, first and foremost, around 760, 1130, 1419, and $17. Those are the fib extension levels. Could it go higher? Possibly. It's already got quite a high market cap though, so I'd expect to maybe see another 3 or 4x maybe from where it is now, and that'd be a good return for a safe-ish play in the crypto sector with a strong fundamental token like Sui. Then we've got Sui against its Bitcoin pair, okay, and it outperformed Bitcoin. It was one of the only things outperforming Bitcoin in the lead up to the end of last year, okay, but since around January, it's been bleeding against its Bitcoin pair. What we see now is it had these lower highs, okay, but it has maintained higher low structure. It is breaking that downtrend now, and I believe that this is starting to get onto this recovery now against this Bitcoin pair. So yeah, looking pretty good still. I'm still bullish that this outperforms Bitcoin for the rest of the cycle. And when we look at it against its Solana pair, okay, it had this big head and shoulders, okay, it broke the neckline, and since then it retested it twice. It's come down, created a higher low, another higher low, and now it looks like it could be starting its move against Solana, okay? So overall, zoomed out, Sui is outperforming Solana, okay? And I believe Solana outperforms Bitcoin for the rest of the cycle. I believe it outperforms Ethereum. So if you're looking for something to outperform Ethereum and Solana, Sui is probably your one. And when we look at the ecosystem, right, on DeFi Llama, okay, what we see is if we put this in spot volume, okay, you've got Cetus is the biggest exchange, followed by Bluefin, DeepBook for spot volume, okay. And then if we look at it on terms of TVL, okay, the biggest by TVL is Suilend, Navi, and Haydal, and then you've got Bluefin. And we won't talk about everything further down the list too much, but yeah, you're starting to get a picture of what ones are stronger, and you can make a note of these names. We're going to go through some of these coins now as well. And when we look at fees, okay, what's making the most fees? Let's look at it on a 30-day, okay, because sometimes things can change day by day. Okay, what we see is Bluefin, Cetus, Suilend. Then we see Momentum, Navi, okay. And when we look at revenue, what's drawing in revenue on Sui? Okay, 30-day revenue, Bluefin. A new, which is called a prediction market tool, Double Up. They've recently come into this chart. I didn't see them too much before. Well, in the last 24 hours, they've lost some revenue, but won't go into that too deeply. But yeah, you've still got Cetus there, Navi. Yeah, it's looking good. And let's talk about Cetus, right? Cetus is one of the biggest dexes on Sui. Okay, it's where everyone trades all their altcoins and meme coins on Sui. Okay, sometimes you don't even realize that you're using it. You could be using it via the native Slush wallet, or you could be using it on Phantom. You know, they're using Cetus to make the transactions take place on the network. So Cetus is currently sitting at 13 cents with a market cap of 107 million. Which is ridiculously low market cap for a project of this size. If you think of the amount of volume that's transacting on this, okay, on chain, and with a market cap of equivalent to a meme coin or something like that, okay, and something you're going to look at today, and something I want to address in today's video, is that many of these coins are at their lows. When you've seen me talking about alt season starting and everything like that, we're just at such early stages of it. We're not saying alt season is fully on and fully happening right now. It's at early stages, early signs we are seeing that are indicating us that it's coming. And I would say, and I'm going to say that many of these coins that I will feature today, you're going to look at their charts and you're going to go, that looks awful. You know, it's been going down. It's been, you know, it's been hit hard, and that's right. And now is the time that I think they have started to bottom out, started to make their recoveries, and you can start to see which ones are strong and which ones are looking weaker, and determine whether you think you're going to get in early for some of these projects. And if for the rest of this cycle, I believe if Sui continues to perform, then maybe we see some of these altcoins that are built on Sui start to outperform Sui. Okay, so we're talking about Sui outperforming Ethereum, outperforming Solana, its ecosystem being one of the strongest out there. And if that is the truth, then many of these coins will outperform Sui itself. But like I say, so Cetus looking, let's have a look. So it took a pretty hard hit. So if we look at it there, look, it's come down. It had an all-time high of around 46 cents, okay? And it's now down at 13 cents, okay? There's a total of a 1 billion supply of Cetus, and the circulating supply is 821 million. So most of it's out there and circulating. Let's look at the chart. So one thing I like about Cetus is, again, higher lows, okay? It has had these lower highs, and what we're going to be looking at, we want to see Cetus start to break this downtrend, okay? So we've got a bit to go yet, but maybe it could go up there, touch it, come down. But I think eventually that breaks. And then could it go to the top of this rising megaphone pattern that I like to see in early stages of bull markets? Okay, because, you know, hitting up there sort of round about the end of the year, you're talking about, you could be at 170, 180. Okay, from 13 cents. I mean, that'd be ridiculous gains. I mean, I'm not saying it's definitely going to get there. Like I say, none of this is financial advice, but this is the type of opportunities we could be seeing here. Okay, so Cetus, the 5 and 13 EMA look like they're just about to cross. It's still sitting here under the 50 EMA on the weekly, but that looks like it's got potential there. Next up, we've got Bluefin, which is a decentralized derivatives exchange, futures exchange for trading on Sui itself. So it's completely decentralized. It's a trading platform, very similar to your Binance and everything, Coinbase, etc. Except this is decentralized, yeah? Probably similar to something like Drift on Solana. Okay, so let's have a look at the token. Oh, sorry, that's the platform. Yeah, so you can, like I say, you can do your long, shorts, you can get 10x leverage and everything like that if you're into stuff like that. Like I say, you've got perps here on some of the big altcoins on Sui, or you can also trade things like Bitcoin as well and Solana in the decentralized way on the exchange. So let's look at the Blue token itself, okay? So Blue is the token for Bluefin, the exchange, okay? Currently sitting at a 28 million market cap, total supply 1 billion. 300 million out there, so still quite a lot of supply sitting out there to unlock, but it looks like it's starting to make a recovery now, up 14% in the last 30 days. Okay, and let's look at the chart. Looks like this one is very much accumulating, okay, on the weekly. Okay, still sitting under the 13 EMA. Okay, but like I say, this is a lower high here. This is how many weeks here? This is many weeks. Let's have a look. So from when it capitulated down there, you know, you've been 140 days of accumulation here. It hasn't dropped. It hasn't fallen through the floor. So that's a strong sign. So like I say, you could be getting into this one very early here. You know, like I say, it's always a risk of doing these things. But what I would suggest as a bit of advice, or not financial advice, but for an advice of someone who is potentially looking at buying some of these coins, I would suggest having a diversified bag of them. So if you've got a Sui portfolio, or you want to start one, I'd suggest obviously having the main part of your capital that is allocated to Sui. I wouldn't suggest ever having all your capital all in one chain. Like myself personally, I've got my Ethereum portfolio, my Solana portfolio, and my Sui portfolio, and they're my three of my biggest ones, and I've got some others as well. And what I do is I always have some of the layer one, I'll have the top dexes, I'll have the top DeFi plays, and then I might have some other speculative stuff and maybe a couple of meme coins as well, but it's all very much weighted by market cap or the fundamentals of those projects, okay? So Bluefin looks like it's in a heavy accumulation period, and it looks like it could go a lot higher when it does. I mean, sitting around at 9 cents at the moment, it's all-time high where it started out from. So, like, really, it hasn't ever gone past where it launched. It's just bled out since then and now accumulated. So that's at 88 cents. So you're looking at the best part of a 10x to get up to the all-time high and surpassed it, just for starters. I mean, if it goes even further than that, yeah, there could be ridiculous gains in some of these coins. You know, if you're coming into crypto because you want to, change your life, okay, financially, then maybe you need to look at some of the plays that are low market cap but strong fundamentals. And then you might be in with a chance of doing that for your life, you know. Next up, we've got Suilend, okay, and their token is Send, okay. So Suilend, well, it does what it says on the tin. It's a lending protocol, so you can borrow and lend on Sui. You can borrow against your crypto assets. You can lend crypto assets, okay? You've got to put down collateral and everything like that. So there's always a risk at that, and there's always a risk of being margin called. But when it comes to lending and borrowing on Sui, Suilend is the top platform. And taking a look at the Send token on its USD pair. It is, again, very much like Bluefin's token Blue, and like many of the others I'm going to show. Like I said to you at the beginning, there's not maybe I can come back to all these projects in a couple of months, okay, and see how they're getting on then, because at the moment I believe they're all bottomed out. They've all made a low, made a higher low, and they look like they're starting to recover. And these sort of patterns, I was looking at some of your big caps that are doing well when it was in the bear market, and I was starting to see that maybe the crypto had bottomed, Bitcoin especially itself. Looking at some of these patterns, very much like an Adam and Eve pattern here. So there's your Adam, there's your high, and then it fell down again, accumulated again. There's your Eve, maybe like a cup and handle formation will happen, and then it'll start to move away. But like I say, still under the 5 and 13 EMA, but like I say, looks like a good accumulation there for Suilend token Send. Next up, we have Walrus. Walrus is a cloud storage platform on Sui. Okay, so think about coins you may have heard of in the past if you've been around in crypto for a while, things like Filecoin, Arweave, etc. Well, Walrus is the equivalent of those on Sui. And they're saying that this is gonna be bigger than Arweave, going to be bigger than Filecoin and everything. So apparently it's got great technology. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be a strong platform. Oh, that's a really cool little feature on their website. I like that. Okay, let's have a look at the token. So Walrus is sitting at 48 cents at the moment, and it's got a market cap of 669 million. Okay, so like I said, many of these projects, but their market caps are quite low actually for how big these platforms could become. Still think it's quite early for them. It's performed really well in the last 30 days. It's up 30%. Okay, getting a lot of volume here, around 68 million. Okay, so there's 5 billion wall tokens. Okay, and there's 1.38 billion circulating supply. So still a lot of supply still to come out. But like I say, this is early days for these projects, and we can see that when we look at the chart. Okay, so yeah, Walrus has only been around since 24th of March of this year, so not long at all. And since this is quite a successful chart for a new launch coin, okay, as you can see in some other coins, when they're launched, you get this first initial pump and then you get the bleed out. But this has just held up. Like, there's confidence from investors here on this that it's going to perform well, okay, and it looks like it could be starting to, is it like a bull flag really? Okay, and it's starting to make a move up, and I believe if everything gets really bullish again in the near term, this could quickly be pumping out into new all-time highs. Okay, now if it did lose this, obviously there's a lot of room to come down. You could get a panic sell-off and everything, so it's very risky. It's new, but the fundamentals look really strong, and I believe, yeah, this could be a good one to get into as well. And then we've got DeepBook. Okay, DeepBook is the main liquidity provider for Sui. Okay, so it's where a lot of the DEXs that are built on it, it's DeFi protocols. That's where they get their liquidity from. Okay, and it's got a token called Deep. Okay, and it was also a newly launched token recently this year actually, and it's currently sitting at 650 million market cap, so sitting quite close with Walrus there. And there's 10 billion tokens, and there's 3.3 billion in supply at the moment. Okay, currently sitting at 19 cents. It's up about 50% this month, so it's showing that it's looking bullish. And let's look at the chart action. Okay, so like another new token, well, newish. It was launched in October last year. Okay, and since then it's been in this accumulation pattern. So it rose from its launch. It didn't tank off. Well, maybe it tanked off for a couple of weeks there, but after that it's showing higher lows. Okay, and it looking like it wants to take on some of these levels, like of 24 cents and then of its high of 34 cents. And yeah, this could go into the billions. This is where, like I say, it's the backbone of their liquidity. Like the website says, it's got lots of volume, TVL, and everything. So yeah, I believe this one could be a really strong buy. And also now I want to show you some meme coins, okay? So full disclosure, I'm in these meme coins too, okay? And yeah, just ones to put on your radar, okay? One of the biggest ones on Sui is actually LOFI, okay? This has got quite a big community of followers, and yeah, it looks like a great meme coin, okay? Let's have a look at it. Okay, so currently sitting at 4 cents, okay? It's up around 39% for the month, and it's got a good volume there of 1.76 million, okay, which is pretty good for a meme coin, okay. And if you think about some of the meme coins that are on Solana, okay, some of the biggest meme coins, okay, there's many of them that in the meme season that passed like end of last year, they was getting to billions of dollars of market cap, okay? Some of these things, this is the biggest meme coin on Sui at the moment, LOFI. It's only 41 million. So can it get to 100 million, a couple of 100 million? I think that's quite likely, actually. Look, given its strong community, the volume it's getting, etc. Okay, the total supply is 1 billion and the circulating supply is 1 billion. So sometimes, you know, many people like to look at meme coins because, you know, there's no VCs, there's no team allocations to be unlocked on you. Okay, all the tokens are supplying. You know, obviously they're in supply. So, you know, obviously there's a risk. You know, who's behind this? You know, you know, there's obviously like some big holders as well. And I'd suggest go on to things like BullX or GM.GN AI and Rug Checker and things like that. Just to check out the token supply, the distribution of them, and to see whether, you know, you think it's a safe play or not. But currently sitting at 4 cents, you know, could this 10, 20, 30x is possible. And as you can see, it's listed on some major exchanges, and they're giving it quite good volume here. Like, as you can see here, for Mexi, 186,000, Gate 146, you know, and Kraken 229,000. Okay, so yeah, it all adds up to make the millions of dollars of volume. But yeah, also a lot of people trading on the dexes that are built on Sui, such as Bluefin and Cetus. So that's where you can go and get that from. Whether you want to connect your Phantom wallet or Slush wallet, etc., and go and click trade on some of these things. And let's look at the chart. Okay, so the chart for LOFI looks pretty strong, actually. Looks like it's getting above the 5 and 13 EMA on the weekly. Higher lows. Okay, it's got an all-time high here of 38 cents. So, you know, that's pretty much a 10x from there just to get to all-time highs. And like I say, this is the biggest, most popular meme coin on Sui, and Sui is the most popular new layer one of this cycle. You know, you do the math, okay? And then there's FUD, okay? The OG meme coin on Sui, and it is because it was one of the first meme coins, possibly the first meme coin to be launched on Sui. Okay, when I first got into Sui ecosystem back in around January 24, this was the meme coin that everybody was talking about on chain. And I believe it's still got a lot of strong holders, and I believe it could get the narrative. It's got great memes and everything like that. So looking at the token itself for FUD, I got into it around here, I think, early January, similar times to when I bought Sui, because I bought Sui, I played around with a wallet, then I bought myself a few speculative coins on there, on that wallet, and I bought a small bag of this, and it became quite a big bag at one point. I saw this pump. I think I took profits up here somewhere, and I bought some more Sui because my bag of FUD got a little bit oversized, and I wanted to reallocate back to more Sui for safety. Okay, so total supply 75 trillion FUD. Okay, max supply 100 trillion FUD. And at the moment, there's 57.5 trillion FUD, which is not very bullish, really, to see that there could be more supply coming for FUD. You'd have to do your own research into why there is still some supply held back. I know they wanted to do more stuff with the protocol and make it more of a, like, you know, like a similar thing to like Bonk and everything like that, where they end up doing stuff with their FUD. Okay, so we'll go into that on another video, perhaps. But let's look at the token itself on the chart. Okay, so FUD currently sitting at the lows. Okay, is that looks like it doesn't look that bullish, but it is a higher low, I guess. It's building up over a number of weeks. You've got to be really careful with this one. But what I'd like to say is perhaps wait to see a sign of strength. Okay, maybe breaking above some of these EMAs and reclaiming some of this, because that's running very, very flat. And that downtrend, I don't like the way that was just such a steep downtrend. It's just pure selling going on. Yeah, so maybe approach with caution, or like I say, wait to see signs of strength on that one. And then we've got SUAI, which is like a meme coin stroke AI agent creator on Sui. Okay, the token's SUAI. You can go on here and create AI agents and mint NFTs and do all sorts of playing around with their staking, and there's all other features on there. Okay, I'll allow you to do your own research on what SUAI is and everything like that on the fundamentals. Again, sitting with a very low market cap here of 3.7 million. Okay, so it fell down massively from that January hype. Okay, as many other coins on this sort of narrative have done so. Even the Solana ones absolutely murdered. Will they come back? I cannot tell you that. Okay, this is 94% down from its all-time highs. Okay, so approach with caution, right? Looking at the chart though, it looks like it's starting to get a bounce, which is one of the reasons I featured this. Okay, because there's some of these coins have had a lot of been hit hard, and I'm not sure of the strength of them, but this is showing a sign of strength. Okay, it's broken above its 5 and 13 EMAs. It's retested them with a wick down there. Can it hold? Let's see. Okay, but it was until that point purely a downtrend, so this always could be a continuation of a downtrend. Okay, what I'd really like to see as a sign of strength would be to take out this high. Okay, as we can see, we're sitting right there now at that 0.049 level. Okay, and yeah, it could be if AI agents become a thing on Solana again, I would say they will become a thing on Sui again. Okay, as we know, AI is the big talk of this massive cycle that we're in. Okay, whether it's fundamentally in the real world or the crypto world or whatever way you want to look at it, AI is the narrative of the end of this technology super cycle. Okay, and if AI is the narrative, then maybe the AI agents can come back, and maybe SUAI could be a very interesting play. Like I say, with a market cap of just 3 million, I would only invest a very small portion of your portfolio in this if you was going to do that. Obviously not financial advice again. So we covered lots of coins there built on Sui. We covered DEXs, DeFis, meme coins, etc. Now, there's so much to be said about Sui, technically, fundamentally, and I couldn't put it into words better than obviously one of the CEOs and founders of Sui, Adeniyi. Okay, and here he is now, and I'm going to leave you with this because I believe it's important that you hear some of what he's got to say about Sui and what's going on with the chain. So here he is now. Make sure you keep watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.
So since we've spoken last, we have millions in daily active wallets, right? We have billions in DeFi. DeFi is growing at a rapid rate in Sui. I think Sui is number 6 in terms of DeFi volume, and it's in the top 10 in terms of TVL for a chain that is one of the youngest in its lifespan. In the same time frame, we've seen Mr. Cetus, we've seen DeepBook, we've seen Walrus, we've seen Seal, we've seen multiple things. Institutions are getting involved in Sui at a large scale. To go into that, over 1.4 million active wallets. There's over 1.7 billion in TVL in Sui, and DeepBook's actually done about 6 billion in in actual trading volume, and it's growing. Since we spoke last time from the last Basecamp, we've seen over a 3x increase in number of on-chain transactions. So Sui is getting some notoriety. More importantly, Sui is getting some real usage. So we've also had some game-changing updates. I remember when we talked about Mr. Cetus in previous Basecamp, people just woke up in the morning and one day their apps were somehow 3 to 4x faster without any code changes. This is the kind of things that we do. Very hard problems, very difficult scientific problems, we solve them. Usability is at the core of what we care about at Mysten Labs, and it goes all the way in every product that we build. We want developers to be armed with the tools to build the most compelling businesses upon Sui. So Mysten actually launched, and it's the fastest consensus algorithm that runs today in production. And there's going to be a Mysten version 2, which we'll talk about through our Basecamp. We also shipped DeepBook, fully decentralized, and we made updates to DeepBook. It's running super fast, and majority of DeFi protocols are built into it. Liquidations work really, really well through it. It is a backbone of liquidity for the entire Sui ecosystem. At the same time, Sui name service has received an upgrade. It's now a decentralized protocol with ownership for the community. There's going to be a mass upgrade coming to Sui NS soon. You're going to see some amazing updates that are really going to add additional utility to the NS name service itself. Walrus, in the same time frame of launching all these amazing things, we also shipped the first fully decentralized, highly scalable storage network for the world. And there's nothing that competes, nothing even close. 4 to 5x replication factor, very cheap storage. You can store petabytes or gigabytes of data, no problem. It is the most scalable, most robust mechanism to store data in the decentralized world than what exists in the market today. And very soon we'll be talking about Seal, which is a secrets management solution. So you can now start storing secrets directly on chain, give role-based access controls and build that directly into your applications using Sui as a coordination layer. This whole thing is all tying together in a way that I don't think anyone's ever seen before. And we have an amazing ecosystem that keeps growing. We're looking forward to Eka launching. Eka is going to give a new spin to how you think about bridging assets, controlling assets from any chain you want. So if you want to control your assets in Solana, control your assets on Bitcoin, control your assets on whatever network you want, you could do that directly using Sui as a smart contract programming layer and use Sui as a mechanism for controlling those assets directly with the same safety and programmability that's afforded to you by the Move programming language. It's going to be amazing. If really you can now start trading any assets you want natively on Sui without the efforts, without having to worry about bridges. Aftermath is soon to launch its fully on-chain perps DEX. Very excited about that, where you have fully on-chain order book running at very, very high speed. To top on that as well, we've had amazing additions to the ecosystem. Both Phantom and Backpack wallets are supporting the Sui ecosystem. You can buy, sell, trade, own NFTs with these applications, and we are seeing a broadening of the ecosystem to Sol users and other ecosystems as well around the world. Institutions are very, very well informed about Sui and are getting involved in a very high level. And we have deep integrations. We're working with Grayscale. We're working with Franklin Templeton. We're working with Van Eck. A multitude of institutions are working with us, include World Liberty Financial as well. Not just talking about launching ETFs and things of that nature, but actually building actual financial products on-chain that will be services to businesses and consumers. And we have a multitude of stablecoins on Sui. I think Sui has something to the tune of 4 to 5 native stablecoins, and that number is only going to grow. We're going to be announcing some new stablecoins on the platform this week, and we're seeing a mass BT, call it BT sonification on Sui. We believe Sui will be the best place to bring utility to Bitcoin. Programmable Bitcoin will be available on Sui, and it'll be available at scale and to the tunes of billions of dollars. So Bitcoin is going to be a big narrative that we're pushing this year to grow the actual TVL of Bitcoin on a Sui network, giving that utility to hodlers of BTC. So, from a developer standpoint, we've seen over a 200% increase in active developers. We've seen over about 120%, 125% jump in actual on-chain commits on GitHub repos. That is talking about increased velocity for developers. It increases velocity of builders in the Sui ecosystem. It's hard to find an ecosystem that's growing at such a rapid pace like Sui. We've had massive hackathons, over 700 submissions between our AI and also the Overflow hackathons as well. It's growing at a rapid rate. I think we're running some of the world's largest hackathons today from a crypto perspective. I think only Solana is a little bit larger at this point in time. And we're growing at a rapid rate. It's very exciting to see the tools that we're building in the hands of others. For ecosystems that are way more mature, they've been around for 4 or 5 years, and we're literally a small baby, we call ourselves. It's been around for barely 2. So if we chart the progression of Sui versus other chains as its infancy, I think Sui blows everyone else out the water very, very easily. So I want to make the point that what we're building here is not easy. What we're building here is taking the very, very hard path. We chose to launch this network with our own idea of like not doing an airdrop because we want to build a real community that's here to stay. We also chose not to build a DM fork. Like Sui is not a DM fork like Aptos or any other network that exists today. Sui is actually hard science built by some of the world leading engineers in the world. We're in a different league, completely different league. In the same time frame, people are trying to ship consensus upgrades. We've launched 5 major protocol upgrades. We've launched Sui, we've launched Walrus, we launched ZK Login. We're launching Seal, it's in testnet. We're about to launch Nautilus, which is also in testnet. So the rate at which we ship, the rate at which we deliver is unmatched in the industry, and it's not even close. So I also want to say the ecosystem growth of Sui is a big signage of that. So beyond just shipping great technology, the amazing growth we're seeing for the ecosystem and the participants in the ecosystem is also a big achievement that we're really, really proud about. It's very hard to do this by ourselves. I think Sui only exists because of the community that's behind it, and that community is growing at a very, very rapid rate. So I've talked about what we've achieved. So what's next? So, we talked about amazing protocol upgrades. We talked about launching, Walrus. We talked about ZK Login. These are all, to me, it's old news now. What's next? What are we going to be doing next? Well, there's a plethora of things that we're going to be doing. There's a Mysten version 2 upgrade that's going to be coming live. When we talked about Mysten at Basecamp last year, we said it's going to come in 2 forms. There's going to be an upgrade version 1, and then there's going to be an upgrade version 2 that's coming. This version 2 update is going to actually reduce the amount of CPU usage required to process consensus, and you're going to see about 2 to 2.5x increase in actual throughput on validators. So Sui is already the fastest, it's only going to get faster. We're going to see Remora, which is the ability to allow us to scale horizontally using a new set of primitives. We are going to have also a version SIP 45 that's going to have a native built-in mechanism for MEV protection on chain. We've mentioned Seal. We'll get Seal to mainnet as well. Nautilus, the ability for us to verify off-chain activities directly, off-chain computations directly using a move on-chain. It's going to be amazing. So you can build new forms of oracles, new forms of proofs. If you want to do things related to AI, you can do that directly and verify using new smart contracts. We also have Scion that's in the pipeline, which is the ability to find the very best path to navigate the internet to ensure that you can always reach the endpoint you want to reach. Sui is going to see Scion in production, whereby even if you have the internet stack go down, Sui will still be able to run, it will be bulletproof. And then we have a plethora of other updates that are going to be coming. So we are consistently shipping, we're always working. I think the team, for the size of the team, for what we're delivering, I think we're punching well beyond our weight. And that's because we believe in the vision of what we're trying to achieve here. We're really trying to rebuild the layers that underpins the internet, which is a hard feat in itself, but it's very, very worthwhile. So again, we got even more work to do, right? You're going to see next-gen upgrades to passkeys, a big improvement to what we're doing in passkeys. Also a protocol called Kelp. Kelp is a new protocol that ultimately allows you to restore your seed password. So if you had a seed that you lost, it can algorithmically help you recover that seed in a fully decentralized way without remembering any secrets yourself. Never been done before. Sui Move Prover, which is a way to formally verify your code to ensure that there are no bugs. Programmable P2P tunnels. Think about Lightning Network, but on steroids. So you can actually have programmable payment channels on a peer-to-peer basis. Imagine playing a card game, you do that instantly, instant settlement. You're talking about 5 milliseconds end-to-end latency, which is unheard of. And then RPC 2.0, you're going to have gRPC and GraphQL support, which people have been asking for a very, very long time. So again, these are amazing upgrades that are going to come to only improve the developer experience, but also empower developers to build really differentiated, powerful applications using the full decentralized stack that we're offering. I want to touch on something. For us, we've always said, while we're at Facebook, we're sat in our offices. One of the things we thought about was, if we could find a way to really coordinate what people do online in an atomic way, in a very safe way, you can build a multi-trillion-dollar business. And we believe we're on the way to doing that with Sui. We believe we're building a multi-trillion-dollar business with Sui and the Sui ecosystem. So from our perspective, there is nobody trying to solve these very, very difficult problems, especially doing it with the idea that decentralization is a key element to making it happen. Centralization is actually a very, very hidden business cost. It is a risk. We're sat there thinking, well, look, we're reaching peak centralization. Companies don't decide to be evil overnight. Over time, you just realize it's easy to coordinate things in very closed loop because, right, you own the staff, you have the hardware, you have the machines, you don't have to work with external parties. You start to build these really convoluted systems and start building your own kingdoms. It's actually a big risk and a big cost. Cybercrime is the third largest economy in the world by GDP, about $9 billion a year in cybercrime. There's a big opportunity to actually really disrupt the work that's going on there. There's over $200 billion being spent in cybersecurity annually, 1.1 billion spent in ransomware in 2023 alone. With the advent of Sui and Walrus, and now with Nautilus and also Steel, the hack that happened with Bybit of over $1 billion would not have been possible on the stack of Sui. So we had predicted 2 years ago that eventually you're going to see a hack of over $1 billion with the EVM stack. And unfortunately, we were right. And we think it's actually going to get worse. But now with the stack with Sui and Walrus, you have binary transparency and the programmability of Sui that makes that hack absolutely impossible. So the stack that we're building, this fully decentralized stack, is only going to reduce the cost companies are going to have to spend on cybersecurity and cyber defense, and they can channel the rest of that funding towards actual innovation. So we firmly believe that the stack we're building with Sui, Walrus, Nautilus, you name it, all over again, these things are going to solve some of the most pertinent problems when it comes to security. If you imagine, if you have a website stored on Walrus, your only attack vector is now going to be key management, which is a very easy problem to solve. Whereas you're buying FireEye, you're buying all these other defense systems that really are just trying to play whack-a-mole rather than actually solving the core hard issue on who has access to write, read, update, modify content. Having a stack like Sui is the only way to do that, especially with the decentralized stack that we're building. So we believe firmly gaming is going to drive the next wave adoption of growth in Sui. I'll be making some announcements tomorrow in regards to gaming. But overall, there are over 3.3 billion gamers worldwide. That is a massive, massive market. Our goal by 2030 is to onboard that 3.3 billion and growing number of gamers into the Sui ecosystem. And it's going to be done by Sui Play, it's going to be done by a number of schemes, but it's going to be done using very consumer-friendly schemes to get people on-chain. Because what that would mean is they'll now be in power of their data, in power of their assets, in power of what they do online, and it's not going to be in the control or into the confines of centralized entities. In fact, tomorrow I'll be talking more about gaming, about why gaming needs to change, why gaming needs a new business model, and why Sui is the only solution that can solve that from a technological standpoint. So Sui is just not an L1, and I want to make that point abundantly clear, right? We're not just trying to build an L1 here. We're trying to rebuild the internet. And that is a very, very hard problem. To solve that problem, you need to build beyond just the blockchain. The ecosystem of applications and platforms that we've built, that we keep launching, are really showing you the trajectory that we're taking, the steps that we're taking to make that a possibility. And I don't believe there's anyone in Web3 or even Web2 trying to make that a possibility today. So it's a powerful ecosystem of protocols where innovators come to build. And if you look at this picture, this is a sign of all the things that we're doing. This is an unforkable ecosystem. Compare that with any ecosystem that exists today. This is an unforkable ecosystem. It is the most powerful set of tools that's going to make building the next generation of applications and businesses possible. I don't think you could do it anywhere else. My name is Adeniyi Abiodun. Thank you very much.